Welcome back to Is It Worth It Reviews. Today we are going to talk about one interesting in-ear model coming from Meze, and it's interesting because you are not buying only in-ears and then you have to think about the source, about what they're going to be connected to, but instead this is a set of in-ear headphones, but also a small DAC that is in a form of USB-C to 3.5 millimeters adapter. It looks like just like any other adapter, but it is a very compact DAC inside. And when I say that Meze Alba, which is the name of this model, costs $159, that is for this whole set, a DAC and headphones. And this looks slick because the design is unified, the cable, these connectors, both parts, they clearly look like a set, like they're meant to be together. And beside these two, in the box, you also get this leather-like looking carrying case and silicone tips in 4 different sizes, which is slightly more gradual than like usual 3 different sizes, which is always good because with in-ears, the bass response and the whole tonality, sound tonality, depends a lot on the fit, and the more gradual choice between ear tips is, there's a better chance for you to secure a really good fit and great best bass response. But before we keep talking about the sound, I just wanted to mention that on today's market and with today's trends, Alba is a fairly compact in-ear. And because of that, I was a little bit surprised. The trend is to go bigger, to have more drivers, several different types and kinds covering different parts of the frequency spectrum. But what Meze did here is that they opted for a good old dynamic driver, 10 point something millimeters, and these are 32 ohms in-ears. And also there are 109 dB sensitivity. But all of these technicalities are not really that important because you don't have to worry about marrying them to a suitable DAC, because as I said, the DAC is bundled in this set already. And the only thing that I can tell you when you join these two together, that I feel there is enough power, volume level itself can get quite high, and the DAC itself, located in this USB-C part, gets just mildly warm. It's not hot like some other DAC dongles. By the way, headphones themselves they appear to be really well made and firm. And I couldn't really figure out what kind of material this is, so I read, and it appears to be some sort of zinc alloy and also some aluminum bits parts. But anyway, it looks really firm and solid. Also, headphones are detachable, and this is a 2-pin connector, which I prefer to the MMCX because I think these are made to last longer. MMCX has a long history of going bad very quickly if you disconnect it often. Which means that even though you buy this as a set, you can still detach cable from the earphones and DAC from the cable. And this is really a good thing, because if it happens by chance in the future that you maybe destroy just the cable, you don't have to buy everything again. You still have working earphones, still have a working DAC. You can just buy another 2-pin and 3.5 millimeters cable. So really no complaints about the whole idea and the whole set and how it's done and made. Materials are good, the idea is good in my opinion, and everything is kept quite compact and small, from the earphones to the DAC dongle itself. The only thing left to find out is how that actually sounds. And how is it comparing to the more traditional earphones and the separate DAC that you can buy for the similar price? Once you secure a good fit, and I'm telling this because at first, during the first few songs, I thought that I had good fit, but I didn't. And I thought that sound is very open and detailed, but kinda leaner in the bass region. And then I tried several different tips and I realized that no, the fit was not even though it appeared to be okay, it was not really perfect, and it needed to be perfect, so the tonality of these can really shine. And once I corrected that, once I secured a really good fit, which was not difficult, I just needed to try several different tips and several different positions in my ear. But once that was done correctly, I realized that no, the sound is not lean, definitely. There is healthy bass line, and if anything, it has a little bit more oomph and warmth. And that's actually a good thing, because in-ears are small earphones, and we do not get those big physical punches that we get from speakers. Or same with bigger headphones, they have tendency to rattle around our head, and we feel bass line more physically. With in-ears, we cannot do that as much. So a clear preference of many, including myself, is to have slightly warmer, fuller, more elevated bass response than it appears to be neutral if you're just looking at graphs. And I think that Meze Alba nailed that here. It's just slightly fuller, weightier and warmer bass line that sounds very good and very natural. These are not like your bass head earphones. They're definitely not that. It's just really nicely tuned, weighty bass line. But that sensation that I had before I secured good fit, that they're open, detailed and very airy, still persisted even after I secured good fit and bass line appeared to be good and weighty and warm, meaning that bass line is not hazing or covering mid-range. Vocals appear to be crisp and clear and well textured. If I listen to something like this, for example, her vocal is very sandy and has that dusty quality to it. And then instruments and the sensation of empty space between those instruments and vocals is really, really good. There's just like open, breezy sound to these in-ears. And I have to say, looking at them, how small they are, and just realizing how this is a nice looking, well-made set from a famous brand, at just $159, I didn't expect the sound to be this open and airy and rich. I thought it would lag a little bit compared to best separate solutions at this price, but it doesn't appear that way. And also just the overall liveliness and snappiness and attack, dynamic, all of that is there. I listen to some more upbeat song and there's decent rhythm and liveliness, and I really enjoy the sound, and I can find myself foot tapping with the rhythm. And thinking about cons, I cannot think of any. For real, I listened to this, as I said, plenty of details throughout the spectrum. Bassline is weighty, but it's well behaved, it's well controlled, it's nimble, it's agile. It's not a sort of thumpy bass that has a lot of inertia and it's not controlled. No, this is nice, agile bassline. Mid-range is open and it has plenty of, reveals plenty of inner details from tones. If you listen to wind instruments like saxophones, it actually sounds great and very good with tone timbre. Highs, again, open and airy and nice, but no matter what kind of music I listen to, never sharp, never edgy or annoying. To check if I am just having a good music day, which I can have sometimes, so everything sounds great because I'm in a good mood, I quickly took the best DAC dongle at around $100 that I've tested, and that's Hidizs S9 Pro Plus. This one is around $80. And then I connected really great, around 70-80 US dollars earphones, Moondrop Aria Snow. And these two are, in my opinion, one of the best separate DAC dongle and one of the best earphone model that you can buy at this price. And that's why I'm keeping them, so I can do comparisons like this. And when you put these two prices together, they cost roughly the same to Meze Alba. But they are a bit chunkier and not as nice and slick as this one whole set, very thin, very stylish of Meze Alba. But because of that, I expected them to sound better. And they didn't. Like the overall amount of detail retrieval from the recording is very comparable. And this combo might sound maybe just a tad sharper and more focused on the edges, whereas Meze Alba actually has slightly richer tone timbre, especially in the mid-range. That sandiness and huskiness in vocals, and that sensation of airiness is slightly better with Alba. And the difference is really small. I could basically say these two sound the same. If you are not listening to them critically, or you're out and about and there's a little bit of noise around you, you would not notice the difference. But if I'm sitting at my home in silence and I focus, I actually slightly prefer Meze Alba. And they cost the same, and they are not this bulky and chunky, but instead it's like this slick union of a DAC and headphones that look the same and look like one whole. And I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I felt that Meze Alba is a very lifestyle kind of product coming from a well-known, very famous brand such as Meze, and that they will charge a little bit extra for that convenience and that pretty nice look, not bulky, not chunky, but the sound will be very good. Instead, you get all of these look and style perks, but the sound is actually great. It's fantastic. It's easily matching best pairing that I can think of at that price point. That is just not as convenient and as nice looking as Meze Alba. And for me personally, this is probably the best buy at this price point. Of course, you might have reasons to go with something else. If you're a bass head and you want something that slams with bass and has really skewed tonality towards the bass line. Or if you like some sort of really lean and analytical sound that you can get with some other combinations. But if you're a normal person, like I am, and you like well-balanced, well-judged, tonally rich and highly revealing sound, these should get your attention, because this is a modern, well-sounding hi-fi, but also very nice looking, very convenient to use. And this is how the modern in-ears and earphones and DACs and just portable stuff should be made. And with that, I hope you like this video. See you next time.